Good morning, students. This is Harcharan Singh, PGT English, Cambridge International School, Dasua. And I hope you all are fit, fine, and healthy at your homes and studying well. Students, there are two textbooks, Hornbill and Snapshots, and we are reading Snapshots. Students, recently we have finished Ranga's Marriage, and that is the story of a village boy Ranga, who is the only boy from his village Hosahalli who goes to Bangalore to study in English medium. The writer starts the chapter with a very beautiful way. First, he discusses the title of the story. Then he tells about his village Hosahalli and how he feels sad that no geographer or cartographer ever bothered to mention his village Hosahalli on any map or in any geography book. Then he tells the importance of his village, and he gives very beautiful description of his village, its mango trees, its creeper, and everything. Then the narrator comes to the story that is about Ranga and his village. When Ranga came back after studying in English medium from Bangalore, the whole village was very much excited. They wanted to see whether there is any change in his personality or not. And the narrator also went there, and the village people, they got relaxed when they came to know that Ranga was the same boy who had gone 6 months ago. Then the people go away, and the narrator meets Ranga, and he comes to know that Ranga is still a very good boy, and he admires Ranga and wants to get him married, but Ranga has very different views about marriage at that time. The narrator makes a plan to unite Ranga and Ratna. Ratna is a girl from big city, and her parents have died, and she has come to live with her uncle Ramarao. She is very beautiful. She is a good singer. She knows how to play harmonium and veena. When the narrator then manipulated, and he called Ratna to his house and requested her to sing a song. Ranga also came there. That was the first time they met and saw each other. Then the narrator tells Ranga that Ratna was already married, and Ranga felt disappointed. Then the narrator made a plan with the village Shastri to say things in his favor. He then took Ranga to the village Shastri, where he predicted that Ranga has a girl on his mind, and her name is something that is found in the ocean. It can be moss, that is Pachi, it can be Kamla, it can be Ratna, or anything. Shama, the narrator guesses her name to be Ratna, but again, she is married. On their way back, they confirmed that Ratna is not married, only to find Ranga happy and full of hope. On the other hand, the Shastri disagreed on having staged anything predetermined. He claims to have said whatever his predictions showed. However, at the end, Ranga and Ratna are happily married with a 3-year-old son named Shyama after the name of the narrator. Ratna is 8 months pregnant, and to conclude, the narrator makes sure that he did not bore his readers. Students, next chapter fourth that we are going to begin is Albert Einstein at School, written by Patrick Pringle. Students, there is no need to ask whether you have heard the name Albert Einstein or not, because that is the most famous scientist of the world, and Everybody in the entire world knows him. Patrick Pringle, a famous biographer, he had written one book on the life of Albert Einstein, and it was The Young Einstein. The name of the book is The Young Einstein, and it was written by Patrick Pringle. The chapter that we are going to begin, Albert Einstein at school. This is when Albert Einstein was studying in a German school where every day was a very bad day. You must have heard that Albert Einstein was not good in his studies, especially the subjects like history. He was good at mathematics and geography. He loved to play violin and he could not learn things properly. Whenever his teacher, especially his history teacher, Mr. Braun, asked him anything, he could not answer, and he did not ever bother to learn the things. Again and again, he was tortured in the class, and he meets his friend Yuri and his cousin Elsa, and how he plans to get rid of the German school because he wanted to go to his father in Italy. So he wants to get rid of the school and how he was expelled from the German school. This is all about this. So, students, the chapter begins from the class of Albert Einstein. He is in his history class, and his history teacher, Mr. Braun, he asked him a question. The question was, uh, when did the Prussians defeat the French at Waterloo? The history teacher wanted to know what was the year when the Battle of Waterloo was fought and French were defeated by Prussians. When history teacher asked this question, Albert Einstein, he without any thought said, I don't know, sir. The teacher asked him, why don't you know? You have been told many times. The teacher told that it was taught many times in the class about the Battle of Waterloo. Why didn't he know? On this, Albert Einstein replied, sir, I must have forgotten. Means I forgot, I do not remember. The teacher asked him, now you are telling you forgot, just tell me one thing, did you ever try to learn this? Albert Einstein, again without thinking, said, no, sir, I never tried to learn. And the teacher asked him, why not? Why didn't you try to learn it? On this, Albert Einstein told, sir, there is no meaning of learning the dates, names, places, and years. Like in history, that is taught. I mean, what is the year, what is the place, what is the date, who, what is the name, and all these things. Albert Einstein did not like this, and he said, sir, I do not bother to learn all these things. He said, there is no need to learn facts about names, dates, places. Whenever you need anything, you can find that in books. Because that is a rather old story at the time of Einstein. Now we can search the things on internet. But Albert Einstein said, sir, whenever you need to know anything about any historical event, we can see that in reference books. Mr. Braun, the history teacher, could not speak for some time. Then he said that he was very much amazed at Einstein. Then he asked Albert Einstein, don't you think that you can see all the things in books? Then what is the meaning of coming to school? Then he said, yes, sir. He said, I mean, you do not think that you should learn anything? Then you do not you do not believe in the education system. The teacher was very much angry at this. When he asked this, The teacher concluded that if he did not see any meaning or anything in the education system, then he asked Albert Einstein to mock him. Albert very clearly replies that he is undoubtedly vested in the idea of education. He said the teacher asked him, "What is the Einstein theory of education then?" On this, Einstein replied his teacher that according to him, learning facts was not education. The real education is it should be idea based. There is no meaning of learning dates, names, and places. The education should be idea based. That should be on the ideas. He said there is the question in history that the dates of battles and who killed whom. Okay, which army killed more men? Or he said, I mean, the questions are like that: who killed whom, and when did they fight? Who won the battle? He said, don't you think the question should be, why did they fight? That is an idea based question. Rather than learning dates, rather than learning places, we should think about, I mean, the idea, why did they fight? Mr. Braun, the history teacher, got very angry at this and told him that the class did not want a lecture from him. And he told him, for the sake of punishment, that he would stay for an extra period that day after the school. He said, the teacher said, I know it's not going to make any difference because if you keep on taking extra classes, even then it will not make any difference. And then he said, that is not good either for you or for the school. He called Einstein a disgrace and asked him why he came to school. Albert Einstein told on that, sir, that is not my wish. I do not want to come to school. Then the teacher called him an ungrateful, unthankful boy who does not obey anyone and he is not ashamed of himself. And the teacher, he wants that his father should take him away from the school. That was not a good day at the school. It was a very unhappy and unpleasant day. But Albert Einstein tells that most of the days, not most all the days, all of his days at the school, they were unpleasant and unhappy. That happens every day. And he does not want to go to the same unpleasant and unhappy place that is the school. He just wanted to tell his father to take him to Italy with him. But he knew there was no meaning of asking that because his father would never take him to Italy with him until he completes his school and gets diploma from the school. That is also a big problem. But that is not the only problem. His another problem is the lodgings, the place where he lives. That is a very poor quarter in Munich. He lives in Munich, and that is a very poor and dirty place. Albert Einstein said his father was not having enough money to spare him a very posh and good place to live in, and that's why he is living in a very poor quarter in Munich. And according to Einstein, I mean, the lack of comfort or the lack of good food is not the only problem. The big problem is the howling because the place is very much noisy. Where he lives, the landlady every day beats her children. There is a lot of noise in the house. She beats her children every day and every Saturday. Her husband comes drunk and beats her. That happens every day and every week. That is why it's not only the school that is unpleasant, but the place where Albert Einstein lives in Munich, the poor quarters, that is also a very big problem of his life. Okay, students, what we read today, I'm going to conclude that. I'm just going to revise it. Listen to it very carefully. We are reading Albert Einstein at School, written by Patrick Pringle. This is the part of his life when he was expelled from a German school. His name was Krakow. Albert Einstein was in his history class when the chapter begins. His history class is going on, and the history teacher asks him about the Battle of Waterloo. He asked in which year the Prussians defeat French in the Battle of Waterloo. Albert Einstein said that he did not know. The teacher asked him why. He said, I don't know. The teacher told that it was taught many times in the class about the Battle of Waterloo. Then why didn't he know? He said, Sir, I did not bother to learn it. He said, Why didn't you bother to learn it? He said, Sir, there is no meaning of learning facts. Facts means dates, places, names. The teacher said, Why? Albert Einstein replied, Sir, in case you want to know anything about any historical event, about any date, about any name, about any place, you can find all those things in reference books. There is no meaning of learning all these things. And Mr. Braun, he got very angry and he asked him, okay, then, can you please tell the class what is Einstein theory of education? Albert Einstein, he felt very much nervous and then he said, Sir, learning facts is not education. Education should not be fact based, it should be idea based. When the teacher demanded the explanation, Albert Einstein replied that facts are, if education is fact based, the question is when did they fight, who killed whom, who won the battle, and how many men were killed in the battle, and all these questions. He said rather the question should be why did they fight? Then it would definitely make some sense. That is an idea based question. The history teacher got very angry and Mr. Braun told him that why did he come to school? Albert Einstein said, Sir, that's not my wish. I do not want to come to school. The teacher called him a disgrace, called him an ungrateful, unthankful boy. And the teacher wanted his father to take him back to his place. And the teacher also punished him for an extra period after the school. The teacher said, I know that will not make any difference to you. It's good neither for you nor for the school, but still you will stay back. After the school, Albert Einstein thought that was a very bad day. It was very unpleasant, unhappy day. But what to do? Most of the days, not most of the days, all the days were unhappy and unpleasant. That happens every day in the school. That is why he does not want to go to that unpleasant and unhappy, sorrowful place. But what can he do? If he would ask his father to take him back with him to Italy, his father would not be agree. His father wanted him to complete his school to get diploma from the school. After that, he would take him with him. According to Albert, school was not the only problem. The other problem was his lodgings, where he lives. That were the poor quarters in Munich, because his father cannot spare much money for him to buy him or to help him live in a posh place or posh area. That is why he lives in poor quarters of Munich. And he said the lack of comfort or good food is not the problem, but the problem is the noise. The noise created by the landlady and her children. They all make a lot of noise every day. She beats her children every day, and every Saturday her husband comes drunk and beats her. That happens every day. So there is not only one problem in Albert Einstein's life. It's not only the school, but his living place also. Thank you.